Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So channel members, we will have a Major Arcana series video posted either Sunday or Monday, so definitely check that out. And if you're interested in the Major Arcana series, the membership link will be in the description box below. Okay. Taking a step aside and allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, I'm going to be scrying. I see a triangle immediately. A triangle for me represents coming and going, manifestation, evocation. There's eyes behind the triangle, so this is about a level of consciousness, some sort of awareness that is being pulled through this triangle. What is this in relation to? Okay, and I'm seeing stairs. So what this is saying to me is I'm speaking to a collective who has really worked on their spiritual evolution. Because you've worked on this healing journey / spiritual evolution, there seems to be some sort of new awakening or new understanding, new awareness that's coming in. This seems to be siphoning out an old level of understanding or awareness. It's like we're pushing out the old and bringing in the new. And this is recalibrating you. So some of you are experiencing a greater uptick in synchronicities at this time. For some of you, you may be coming into, for example, a new system of readers that resonate with you, and older readers are no longer resonating with you, right? This is what we do as people. As we evolve, new ones resonate with us and old ones no longer resonate with us. So there's also something here about the web of interconnection. Some of you may recently have become aware that you are actually part of a collective. And there's this feeling that as we've discovered that we're part of this collective, and this doesn't necessarily mean in our immediate environment, it's the awareness that we are all part of a collective. This awareness seems to be allowing somebody to trust more, right? To feel more heard or more seen or more cared for in some way. Being shown, it's like, what is this? Someone here is like going back to something with this newfound perspective, newfound awareness, this new energy, and they're looking at it through a new set of eyes, right? So something's being redressed here, especially within that sacral chakra area. This keeps coming up right now, the sacral chakra. So our childhood, our families, our past lives, something here is being readdressed. For some of you, it may be a creative endeavor that you've put down, but we seem to have a fresh perspective on something and we're returning to it in that way. Okay. Okay, I'm having a guide step through, and this guide is giving me some symbols. So I'm going to go ahead and do the symbols. If you're new to my channel, the symbols don't mean that the reading is or isn't yours. The symbols just mean that someone needs to pay extra attention. I'm seeing a malachite. Okay, and then I'm seeing a stingray. But I'm seeing like the bottom of the stingray. You know how they look like little baby angels? It's really cute. They smile. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing. And then I'm seeing what is this? Is some sort of powder. It's almost like somebody's like mixing up like hot foot or goofer's dust or something like that. Somebody's making something. Just somebody, like, as they're watching this video, they're like grinding up some sort of herbs or something. They're making some sort of powder. Okay. Someone recently has started studying Ayurveda, and this is something that, as somebody's starting it, they know that this entire path is opening up to them. Okay. I'm seeing a bottle of rose water. It's like from a Botanica or like from a Hispanic shop of some kind. It's just a bottle of rose water. Okay. And then this symbol comes out a lot. I'm seeing an owl. This owl's carrying something, though. There's something going on with this owl. I'm not sure what it is. I almost feel like it's carrying something. Okay. And then there's a bowl that's shaped like a lotus flower. That's significant. So like if you're looking around your room trying to find it, that's not the point. It's significant for somebody. So, okay. Ooh, all right. So this is what's coming through. This newfound awareness, this new level of understanding, it's almost like we've awoken something that was asleep inside of our own connection to the collective unconscious. What's happening with this is I'm seeing this sort of awareness like rise up into us, and it's starting to experience through our eyes. So this is something that is allowing us some measure of, it's almost like it's aligning us to, again, to greater synchronicity, greater odd occurrences in our life. It's like when the sleeper wakes, the illusion answers. I really don't know where that came from, but that's what's being said here. So it's almost as though someone feels that their 3D is interacting with them in a new way. And this is why, if you've recently been through a process where you feel like, wow, I feel a little different, or I feel like I'm understanding things in a very different way, and you start noticing that it's like the 3D is interacting with you in a completely different way, this is why. What we have here is the enchanter. This is deception and trickery. I feel that this is something that somebody has put behind them, which is why it's the first card. I'm doing 3 cards here. I have one for past, present, future. This is what this is almost like I'm seeing the apple, right? The apple that's being presented to Snow White, and Snow White bites the apple and she falls asleep. This is what this is looking like to me right now. It's almost as though reality itself, right, is that poison apple, and this is what we've been presented with in this life to cause us to fall asleep. Okay, and this is what's happening now. We have the botanist, parenthood, and legacy. But if you notice, what's actually happening is these hands are coming up and they're cupping this flower that's starting to blossom. So again, someone, your spiritual life, your self-healing journey, it's causing you to blossom. It's causing you to go up those stairs that I was seeing earlier. It's causing you to ascend in some way. And this sort of opening is being held by some other consciousness or some other awareness that is tending to it. But as that awareness is tending to it, we see that flower here outside of those hands that's almost mimicking the expansion of this flower. Someone here, as you're expanding inside yourself, you may be noticing that what's happening on the external is that your 3D life is also beginning to unfold and beginning to expand. And some of the things that are taking place inside of you, those synchronicities, again, going back to that, it's almost like something else is paying attention and it's speaking to you. Remember that, when we talk about the universe, there is an old Hermetic concept that all is mind. And we talk about that here quite a bit, right? That you are not just inside yourself, you're outside yourself as well. And when we talk about all is mind, one of the things that comes into play with that is that what you are experiencing on an internal level is reflected to you by the outer mind, because it's all connected. If you're somebody that's into auras, for example, and you see the aura layers, right? You have the etheric layer, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. That spiritual body never actually ends. It goes off in subtle ways and connects you to every other spiritual body, and in this way we're all one energetically. This is because mentally, even though we see a certain layer to our mental body also doesn't end. Our emotional body also doesn't end. This is how empaths connect to other people's emotions, right? This is how a telepathic person receives the information from another person, because these energy bodies don't actually end outside of you. Their tangibility ends outside of you. Their visibility ends at some point outside of you. If you have an extremely strong clairsentient, for example, they don't see the end of that energy. They just see ribbons of energy everywhere, right? Or a flow of energy everywhere. So someone here is starting to experience this, about how what's external is a direct reflection of what's internally taking place. In future. This is all leading us to the patron. This is mentorship and finances. But what's really striking out to me here is these keys. This is reminding me of the Hierophant, the crossed keys, the power to loose and the power to bind. So someone here is starting to understand how to navigate their own energy. This new awareness is showing them, hey, there's something here. There's something to interact with. There's something to play with and to express yourself in ways that you haven't expressed yourself before. So somebody here may be getting very interested in connecting to their guides and in energy manipulation. I know somebody's going to freak out because I use the word manipulation, but that just simply means changing the energy, redirecting the energy. Somebody here may be playing with, for example, yesterday it was a collective of magicians, and I'm feeling that continuation take place inside this reading, where somebody is expressing this newfound archetype that's existing within them, or that's awakening inside of them, that is able to kind of move the currents of energy, that's able to expand its consciousness out into the external spaces. And someone here is starting to see evidence of that, right? So again, the synchronicities, how they play with you every time you make a new decision, that decision feels good for you. Then you start seeing all those synchronicities that kind of confirm that back to you. In this space, it's very important for people to remember their own confirmation bias, right? To not take things as, to not be so serious about things. Because one thing that can happen when we're experiencing this interplay is we can ascribe a meaning to things that aren't actually there, right? We as human beings, we tend to be the ones that are giving things meaning. So just pay attention to that, right? How much meaning are you giving things? What are you saying about things? What are you labeling things? What are you placing the responsibility of the behaviors external to you on things? Make sure that you keep an open mind. Keep it open. You don't necessarily need to label it or categorize it or say that it's about this and it's about this and this is the point and this is the purpose. That's us, right? That's a human thing. That's not necessarily a spiritual level thing. So just play. Allow yourself to show up in this amazing adventure of life that somebody is currently experiencing with this interplay between inner mind, outer mind, and allow yourself to just play in that space without having to box it, right? I want to see a little bit more about this Enchanter, Deception, Trickery card, please. Okay, we have the Waker. So the Walker, the Unknown, and a Journey. So it's interesting, right? Because this is the starting point. This is the launching pad for everyone. We start off as children, as babies, growing our own personal paradigm. This is how all of us begin, right? We all begin as little infants, little blank canvases that get to form our own paradigm of the world. And this sets us up for our belief states and our core concepts for the rest of our life. How we interact with the world, how we think the world is interacting with us. And this is really the start of the journey. What's happening here is that the sun is rising in someone's paradigm. That brings me back to a reading from last week. Right there. What we have the sun rising over the clouds. So this is happening it feels like this divine time, right? So it's all happening in the right time, in the right order, in the right place for somebody to now have this new awareness, because that's what the sun represents. It represents this new level of awareness that's waking up inside of somebody's life. And what they're doing is they're slowly chasing away the clouds that were created by this energy here, this deception or trickery, this poison apple, right? The temptation of the illusion, right? Fall asleep. That's like the one word that keeps coming to mind as I'm looking at this, is to fall asleep. And this is essentially what happens, right? We start off as the Fool in the tarot. We're a soul, a consciousness that's unbound. The only thing we have tethering us or hindering us is that bag on our back that has that symbol of the pine cone. And then we descend into the realm of the magician that rules the four elements through the gates of the priest and the emperor and the empress. And then we're born. And when we're born into this world, all that baggage is part of our soul. It's projected through the third eye, that pineal gland pine cone. And this sets us up for our next experiences, right? Because it's our beliefs carried with us on a soul level that we weren't able to untangle for ourselves. And this sets up the dream. And this is what this card, the Enchanter, Deception, Trickery, is telling me about. Someone here is starting to wake from that dream. That's why the sun is rising with the Walker. Again, the Fool is the adventurer. He's the one walking the worlds. And what I see here is I see these three birds. This is really speaking to me about a concept that I think a lot of people have. It's definitely a concept inside of shamanism: the upper world, the middle world, the lower world, or the higher self, the middle self, the lower self. In Egyptian cosmology, the three souls, right? The Ba, the Ka, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. But there's something here where all three aspects of ourself are lighting up. So whoever I'm speaking to, you're probably comfortable with shadow work, or you're at least exploring shadow work. This is somebody who is understanding that the darkness within them, those darker subconscious spaces, must be illuminated in order to bring about this process of enlightenment. This is where our conscious self is trying to rein in our egoic nature, right? And where our higher self here is also kind of maybe channeling, maybe exploring astral spaces, maybe taking in higher perspectives. Because the sun is closer to the higher self in this card, I do feel that this is where it's occurring first. Someone's mind is expanding. right? And this integration process requires that these clouds strip away just a little bit, which will happen here with the botanist and that flower unfolding, so that this information taken in by the higher self can now be taken in by the egoic individual, right? The ego self, the one that's alive here, that's operating in the 3D, that has the home, that has the job, that needs to eat, that has to go to the bathroom first thing in the morning. And as that happens, what happens is it sinks down and it starts to become soul stuff. So this is where that bag that the Fool is carrying begins to lighten its load. Ooh, okay, we'll take it. This right here is all a process of the alchemy, right? It's all the process of alchemy here, spiritual alchemy. The mixing of things, the fire that we go through, the new insights and new ingredients that get added to create something new. It's almost as though this collective, whoever I'm reading for in this process of unfolding, being represented here by this botanist, we're being made new in some way. I do feel that this is, oh, wow, okay, wow. It's like being reborn in some way, right? Because we stop believing that this is something separate and this is all that we have, and we start understanding, no, this is all intertwined. That really is like an initiation of sorts, right? Because now life is completely different after that point. It's like taking the one pill in the matrix, right? And then your eyes are opened and you understand the mechanism behind things. And this is what someone here is experiencing, that nautilus shell of expansion. They've come out of some sort of shell, that shell being the shell of sleep. Here what we have is we have the diviner, divine timing evaluation, again, divine timing. And I love how this hand here, which I see almost as this hand, who's holding us, right? This new awareness that has risen up from this collective unconscious space or from our subconscious, almost to guide and help us in some way, whether you feel that that's a process taking place internally with an archetype waking up inside of you, or you feel that that's something taking place externally. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, right? That's for you to decide based on your own paradigm that you're stepping into. But whatever this is, it is seeming to pass to you some sort of power to loose and the power to bind. Here, an understanding that our beliefs are extremely powerful, that our beliefs can bind us, our beliefs can loosen us and free us, and that we have the ability to manipulate the energy or change the energy, not only the direction of ourselves, but the direction of certain events that take place within our life. Here, what we see with this diviner is now this hand is carrying a seed. It's almost as though this is just the beginning of a very long journey for somebody in exploring this new realm and exploring this new opening, this new awakening for themselves. It's just now starting to grow. Okay, we've talked about this before, right? I'm being told that these three go here, so we're going to put them on the side. We talked about this before, the overcoming slights and a choice with the vengeance. Here, these are the three advices. One of the advices that's coming through inside this reading, as somebody is exploring this, about how the external reflects something internal, make sure that you monitor that heart space, right? Your feeling state towards others, the feeling state that you have towards others in the past. We can really screw things up for ourselves if we carry around that toxicity inside of our life, right? Because what are we doing? You are essentially the sum of your beliefs and your feeling state, right? And your thoughts. Those are the three things that are required: your intention, your beliefs, your emotions. Those are the three things required in order to cause things to happen in your life, whether in a tangible way, whether in a magical way. That's because that is who we are. At any given time, we are the sum of our emotions, our beliefs, and our thoughts. These create our actions, right? It's the swords, the cup, the wands that create the pentacle, or fuel the pentacle, really. But here with the vengeance, if you're finding that you are existing inside of this state, remember that like attracts like. You may attract some energy to you that reflects this. So someone here, it's not repress this, it's work through it. It's time to work through it. It's time to look at it. It's time to reframe things for ourselves if we need to. It's time to find a different perspective on it, in whatever way you have to in order to come to that. Here what we have is we have the twins, self-protection and dual natures. Again, one eye is open, one eye is closed, or are they both open? Who knows? But this is kind of what this is speaking to me about, is about this nature of being within ourselves, being outside of ourselves, understanding that the two are one. The two are actually mirror images of each other. This is a little bit of advice that tells me that it might be beneficial for somebody to spend some time in quiet meditation where you locate your consciousness inside your body. Where do you feel that you are located, right? Most people, it's going to be inside their minds. Some people, they're going to notice it's lower. It's in their solar plexus. They might feel that they're actually operating out of the heart space. Find where you're operating out of. Now shift yourself. Go outside your body. Where are you operating from outside of your body? Can you feel which level of your aura you feel that you have shifted into, or have you shifted past that, outside of that? Allowing yourself to, and we call this astral travel, but astral travel is very interesting because it can give us an experience of the things that are outside our body. So somebody here, you're being guided to shift your consciousness and your awareness to outside your body and allow yourself to experience the universe that way and understand, this is me. I'm still experiencing my consciousness in my great body, right? Okay. Here we have... Just for that, somebody may want to look up the term Adam Kadmon. Okay. And then here we have the thief, seizing the moment, selfishness. Okay. So for some, this may be part of the advice that's going on here. I don't necessarily see this as bad selfishness. I see this as needing to take time for yourself. I see this as needing to have better boundaries in order to put yourself first, to understand what relationship you have with giving and receiving. In the West, in spirituality, there can be some sort of guilt that people have in terms of finances, right? And this is usually why we find people who have lack, is because they're still operating under this paradigm where to have equals excess and greed. And one of the things about that is that one thing you'll notice if you see energy, for example, you'll see that there's something going on in their heart space. And this is because the heart isn't about love per se. It's about the ability to give and to receive. Love happens to be an energy that we're able to give and we're able to receive. So that's why the heart space is also about finances. People get very confused about that. Like, if it's about love, why is it about this horrible thing over here? It's just about the energy of being able to give and being able to receive. Love is a big part of that, right? But for someone here, there's some heart space issues that may be coming up that need addressed in terms of our relationship to love, our relationship to finances, our relationship to material wealth, to abundance, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, I am going to say that for this. So the card that was on the bottom was the puppeteer. These three things here, whether it is having a hard time integrating the information that we're coming into, which is fine. I feel that some of you're beginning to see this, and so this is fine. It takes some time to integrate this. We'll go back and forth and seesaw between feeling like, oh, it's me against everything, and then, oh no, it's all one and it's me against everything, before we actually get to it, right? Before we actually integrate it. That's how integration works. Integration is very rarely a, aha, suddenly I get it. It can happen that way, but that's usually not what happens. So someone here is still in that process, but for me right now, the way I'm going to interpret this is that somebody keeps forgetting this. Whether it's this, whether it's being stuck in a vengeance sort of embodiment, or if it's in this, which is having a bad relationship to the things that you deserve to have, right? You deserve to have this as an abundant spirit. You deserve to receive abundance. If we are having a hard time with that, then we may be succumbing to this energy here, the puppeteer. We may be recognizing that what's going on outside of us is actually reflecting some of these qualities back to us, and we may be at its mercy at this time. And if so, these are just areas to pay attention to and try to work through. Again, I always recommend journaling about things, reframing things for yourself inside of a journal. Okay, again, I'm really being drawn to this botanist card. This botanist card is extremely beautiful. It's like this beautiful unfolding that's taking place, and I'm being told to pull one last card for that. Okay. Ooh, bottom? Okay. And so the last card that comes up for this is the Oak Man. Now, again, going back to that sacral chakra space, we see that his eyes are orange, right? The color of that sacral chakra. So there may be a heavy emphasis, again, on our childhood. There may be a heavy emphasis on creativity. There may be a heavy emphasis on our family roots. But as we're unfolding and we're leaving behind these old perspectives that maybe were residual of those times, what we're really doing is we're loosening our baggage here. We're freeing our baggage. baggage. This is the feline, and the feline has all these tendrils holding him back, and he's like buckled down underneath the weight of that. And inside Brian Froud's book, whoever corrected me, thank you on his name pronunciation, Brian Froud, I think is what you said it was. Anyway, Brian Froud's book, this is what this card represents. It represents getting rid of the baggage, right? Tying up loose ends. And so this is just like that Fool card with that baggage inside the pineal gland. Someone here is loosening their load. And this is bringing a lot of wisdom. This doesn't happen overnight. It happens over course of a long period of time where the oak man starts to become wise. He goes from this very young tree to this very grandfatherly sort of oak. And so this has been a very long process for somebody. And so you've come a long way, and there's just a few things here left to clear up. And that's not to say that you'll ever be like, scot-free of things, but it's to say that the things that have bound you in the past, they're loosening their hold now. You've done a lot of work on this. The card that's under that, and this is, I'm being told this is the last card. The last card is this. This is the fairy that was kissed by the pixies. This is the card about love. So we have that theme of love coming in as well. I think one of the symbols may have been malachite, if I remember correctly. And so with malachite, that's that green heart energy, right? Malachite's got a lot of other things going on, but whenever I see that green color, it always makes me think of the heart. So again, our ability to give and our ability to receive. Someone here may have had a very hard life. The external 3D may have been very difficult. And we're coming to a place where we've released that sort of vengeance and that animosity and that aggression. And I think that that's the advice for someone here as well, towards the 3D, as we're noticing it's interacting with us. And that's the first step to really fully stepping into understanding that, just like that Hermetic principle, all is mind. And one thing that's happening here is that they're learning to love the external world, learning to love people again, learning to love the reflection, and learning to dance with the reflection, learning to receive from the reflection. Look at the admiration she's receiving from this other fairy over here, and she's just kind of like, oh, thanks, like so demure. And this is kind of the energy that it's giving me. For some of you, that blue is very important, and the blue is really speaking to me about the ability to use our voice and express. So some of you, this has been part of this journey. I'm going to leave this here. I think this is beautiful. So if this resonated, feel free to like this video, and until next time.